Give me a camera to flirt with, an Oscar, I deserve it. The lights, the fame, the press, this game I play it every day.
And hello everyone, it is Peter Sam the Narrow Gauge Engine here, back with another top 5 video. Today, as the season is upon us, it is time for the top 5 best when it comes to the Christmas episodes within the glorious show we all know and love. As always, we'll start with the honourable mentions, so let's talk about some great episodes that didn't make the list first of all. Let's start with the Diesel's Ghostly Christmas two-parter once again, as had I already not mentioned it in my top 5 list for the spooky episodes, they would have most likely made the list, as they're pretty strong. Part 1 has the fun ghost engines of E. Marley and Salty on the deck of a ship, and Part 2 has the morals being instilled upon Diesel and the very sweet ending at Ulstead Castle. Overall, it is just a very enjoyable, very strong pair of episodes, even if they do take from A Christmas Carol. My other honourable mention is going to be Keeping Up with James, as it really is just the best Christmas episode from the hit era, so by default I kind of have to mention it here. James is characterised well here, as well as Edward, and their dynamic really does hold the episode up. There's also James's antics as he slips and slides on the rails, and that crash that makes the snow explode, it's alright. All in all, a solid one, but definitely nowhere near in the same league as the 5 that we're going to go on to talk about. Number 5, Duncan the Humbug. Duncan is one of the biggest assholes in the Thomas & Friends franchise, so to have an episode where he overcomes his behaviour and learns to be helpful is just great. It is purely for his own game, but he does learn the value in helping others, even if his attitude stays the same by the end. That alone makes this really wholesome, but also a Skarloey Railway episode at this point in the show's history is really rare, so to see one in general is just great. I don't think this one is nearly as visually strong as Duncan and the Grumpy Passenger though, which is unfortunate, and that's sort of why it ended up as number 5 on the list. It's good, but it's not as striking as the other Narrow Gauge episode in that season. Number 4, Thomas's Christmas Party. Some people will question me on this and why it made it onto the list when you could argue that Diesel's Ghostly Christmas duology and the number 5 pick probably deserve this placement more, but I'd argue that Thomas's Christmas Party is one of the more overhated episodes of the Thomas fandom. While it lacks in Ringo Starr weirdly not being able to sing the simplest of songs and just general sense with its chronology, it makes up for with heart an actual fun story. I have said before that Mrs. Kindly's Christmas would be a better tale, and I do stand by that, but this is still good. We have this fun rescue operation for Mrs. Kindly so she can go to a party to celebrate the day a year ago she saved Thomas. It's just so fun for me, and that moment when all the lights go on at Tidmouth Sheds, revealing all of the engines grinning excitedly for her, is so wholesome. It's not the best Christmas episode by any means, but I can still have a lot of fun with it, and that's why it's number 4 on my list. Number 3, Thomas and the Missing Christmas Tree. Long ass title and accidental rhyme scheme aside, this one is another great episode. Donald and Douglas actually get to do something again besides murdering some brakeman that kind of deserved it. Clearing the snow is still pretty much what they did in the Deputation too, but hey, they have a very specific set of skills. Plus this episode puts a pin in the Thomas and Percy feud that started in the very first episode of the season, having them celebrate together. That coupled with the goofy Santa hats that every engine wears, the avalanche that Thomas gets stuck in, and just how it seems like every character gets included in this last hurrah of season 2, gives Thomas and the Missing Christmas Tree the bronze medal, in my opinion. Number 2, Thomas and Percy's Christmas Adventure. This is the best model era Christmas episode for me, and I think that's because in general the story is the most coherent, the character choices are strong, and it has the most impact on me emotionally. Something I've noticed with season 3 in particular is that its episodes can have such emotional pull, and this has definitely given me a higher opinion of it as a whole. And this episode is a prime example of that, because the ending of the engines getting their own Christmas presents, something we don't really see too often in Christmas episodes, is such an enjoyable moment. This moment is only beaten by the care Thomas shows for the villagers and the effort he puts in to rescue them, which is seen all throughout the episode. I also think that the American mountain adventure change makes this all the more intriguing, as this is the only episode to have 2 variants to it in the entire show. To my knowledge, this has never happened again, but I could be wrong. That makes this episode even more of a standout, but even that wasn't enough to get it to number 1, so let's go ahead and see which episode made it now. Number 1, Last Train for Christmas. I'm sorry to those of you that have an issue with the overuse of narration, but I like it. It adds to the cozy quality of the episode, making it feel like a wintry bedtime story, which I think is great. The episode itself is a daring rescue operation featuring the badass Connor, as well as many other engines helping him. It's what makes this episode feel like a team effort and gives that family quality that many Christmas stories, TV show episodes and movies do well to represent. Sure, they may not be real family, but it's close enough. Plus, the loyalty everyone has to the passengers that aren't even theirs is admirable. The little Santa fake-out thing that takes place throughout is dumb but in a fun way. And I think the music just steals the show here. I can't even find anything that I can even question if I like it or not, and that is a rare enough feat for Thomas, and that is why this episode lands in my number 1 spot. So there we are, 5 of my favourite Christmas episodes that I'm definitely going to sit down and enjoy this holiday season. Until the next time I see you all though, that's really it from me. I've been Peter Sam, you've been you, and make sure that you enjoy yourself with the people you love this Christmas, because I know I will, even if Sandal is sick of it. He's a prick sometimes, honestly.